Hello everyone. In this video, I'll talk about the art of being anonymous. Now this is the first in a series of cybersecurity videos where I discuss ethical hacking. Over the course of these lectures, I'll be demonstrating real-life techniques which hackers use to compromise security systems. This is a highly practical course. So without further ado, let's begin. So this is one topic that is quite underrated in my opinion, yet it's very, very important. It's not fully explored in a lot of cybersecurity videos, a lot of books, and I've watched a lot of videos, I've read a lot of books. So it's one of the reasons I decided to start with this topic. You see, I see being anonymous as an art, and if you want to perform any great hack, you should be well knowledgeable in this area. You see, you might be the best hacker in the world, but if you don't know anything about staying anonymous, then it doesn't really matter. Well, it depending on what you want to do. So, some of these techniques I'll show, it might seem like overkill to a lot of you, and you don't have to do everything here. I guess what determines it is, what you intend to do. How anonymous do you want to go? It might also seem like not being too detailed for the most experienced of you guys. So let's start. First and foremost, I want to state that this is for educational purposes only. So you should always get written permission before you decide to hack any system. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the steps to being anonymous. The first step I would like to talk about is new everything. So what do I mean by new everything? I would say new computers, new IP address. Don't use your computer. Don't use any computer that can be traced back to you. Okay, don't use any computer that is related to you. If you must get a new computer, I know I said new computer, but let me rephrase it. I will say fairly used system. Get a fairly used system. There are many places you can get a fairly used system. So go out there, get a fairly used system. Then for IP address, don't use your IP address. Don't use your network, okay? Always assume that something somewhere could leak your real IP. So who is going to investigate the hack? So you could use public Wi-Fi hotspots, but don't use your IP address. Secondly, let's talk about the operating systems to use. And since this is a topic on being anonymous, I would recommend an operating system that's actually meant for actually being anonymous. So say hello to the Tails operating systems. Tails operating system. Now Tails stands for the Amnesic Incognito Live System. It's an operating system you can use on almost any computer. Okay, and it's meant for preserving your privacy online. You can even load it on a USB stick. Once you load it on the stick, you just plug it into your system and you can start working from there. So anytime you shut down your system, everything you've done, it gets wiped off, and once you restart your computer, it's a new instance of Tails. So nothing really gets saved on your computer. The default browser for Tails is what is known as the Tor browser. Okay, now this is not a Tor tutorial. I'll go deep into Tor on another video, but just know that Tor is a browser, for staying anonymous. So for example, let's say I want to access a certain site. Once I put the URL, and go, the request leaves my computer from Nigeria. It enters into the Tor network and gets encrypted before exiting from another system, maybe in Netherlands or somewhere else, before actually reaching the site I want to visit. Now that site, it can't see my IP address. What it's going to see is the IP address of the exit node. Okay, so it's only the first node on the Tor network that knows my real IP address. The exit node doesn't know, and the website which I want to visit, it doesn't know as well. What it knows that I came to visit it is actually the exit node of the Tor network. So I'm going to show you how Tails works and how it works with Tor. So we're on the web browser and we're about to download Tails. So I just go here to Google and I just type Tails OS. So the very first result, as you can see, Tails privacy for anyone, anywhere. So that's very first result. I click on that. It takes me to the official site. So as you can see, Tails, this is the most recent version, Tails 4.3. And this is a little description of it. Tails is a live operating system that you can start on almost any computer from a USB stick or a DVD. It aims at preserving your privacy and anonymity and helps you to use the internet anonymously and circumvent censorship. It leaves no trace, and it uses state-of-the-art cryptographic tools to encrypt your files, emails, and instant messaging. If I scroll further down, you would see a donate button. So if you would like to donate to these guys, please donate. I mean, they do a lot of good job. So once I click install Tails 4.3, it takes me to the download page where I can now select which version I want. So if I want to select for USB sticks, I come here, the USB image. If I want to select for DVDs, I come here as well. For virtual machines as well, I come here. So I have already downloaded Tails, so I won't need to download this again. So if you don't have it and you haven't downloaded it, so please click on any of this and let's go to the installation. So when you boot up Tails, this is one of the very first screens you are presented with. You have the welcome to Tails. You have the language, which you can set depending on what is suitable for you. Keyboard layout, you can also set that. Format as well. Then there are the additional settings. If I click the plus button here, you can set the administration password, MAC address spoofing, network connection. But I won't need any of this now, so I'll leave all of them at their default, and I'll just click on Start Tails. So we are at the Tails desktop. If I come under applications here, we have the favorites, and as you can see, the number one on the list is the Tor browser, which we talked about. There are several other applications here which you can use. If I go under accessories, graphics, internet, office, programming, sound and video, there are so many others, but I'm most interested here in the Tor browser. So once I click on that, it's going to take a bit of time, then it will come up. So we have the Tor browser fully loaded up. The very first thing I'm going to do is I want to check my location. So I'll go to Google. So the default search engine for Tor is DuckDuckGo. So you can see this little duck icon here. It's a search engine. They claim not to track your browsing experience, but me personally, I prefer using Google. Google gives me better results. So yeah, it's a trade-off. I know Google can track my browsing experience and all, but well, they can't give me better results. So yeah. So from this alone, you can see the language. I can tell I'm in Germany. You can see this Deutschland here. I can tell I'm in Germany, but I just want to confirm. So I'll say, what is my location? So it loads up, and this is not English, so I have to change this to English so you guys can see that. And I was right, you see, Germany. So it's telling me now that I'm in Germany, and I am not in Germany. I assure you, I'm not in Germany. I'm in Nigeria, Abuja to be precise. So yeah, as you can see now, Tails has fully anonymized, me, my identity. So any site I visit will actually think I'm coming from here, from Germany, but I am not coming from here. I'm actually coming from Abuja. So that's it. So as we saw from the demo, any website I visit cannot see my IP address. It won't be able to tell my location. What it will see is the IP address of the exit node, but it can't see my IP address. Even the exit node doesn't know my IP address. Only the first node in the Tor network actually knows my IP address, knows my location. So you see, now Tor is good and all, but it's not foolproof, and you can still be discovered. I won't go into the nitty-gritty, but it is possible for your Tor browser to be compromised and your location discovered. Besides, there are rumors that the NSA controls a good deal of nodes on the Tor network. So this is just a little fun fact, okay? The US government, they are one of the major sponsors of Tor. So go figure. So what we are going to do now, we are going to add another layer of security. We'll use what is known as a VPN, or a virtual private network. Now you can think of a VPN as an encrypted tunnel between your computer and a server. You see? So now there are several ways to set up VPN with Tails, but I'll just go into the demo and show you how VPN works. So I am currently on my Windows environment and I am not connected to any VPN at the moment. So if I were to come here to Google and type what is my location, alright, so it's giving me Nigeria, which is correct. I'm currently in Nigeria, Federal Capital Territory. That's Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, and that's where I am at the moment. So for the purpose of this lecture, I downloaded and installed a VPN known as the Proton VPN. Now you don't have to use this, okay? There's so many VPNs out there. All you just need to do is to go to Google and just type VPN and you see so many of them. All right, so I would advise you go to Google, type VPN, then whichever one you think is best for you, read about them, check their user reviews, check their terms and conditions, stuff like that, before you decide to actually choose the one that is best for you. So here on the right hand side we have a visual map of where their servers are. Okay, their servers are almost everywhere. As you can see, these green triangles are where their servers are. Then on the left hand side you can also see them as well. You can connect to them. You see Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brazil. You can connect to any one of these servers. Then you also have the quick connect button. If I click on this, it connects me automatically to to any of the servers right now. All right, so let's say I want to connect. This is the free trial, by the way, and they give you a trial for 7 days. All right, and you have an option to buy if you want to. All right, so let's say I want to connect to Australia. All right, I happen to like Australia. So if I click on connect, all right, it's connecting me to Australia. This will just take a little while. So you see it's assigning an IP address to me. So I am connected at the moment. I am connected to Australia. All right, so just to confirm, if I were to come back to Google, now you see where it says what's my location, Nigeria. If I were to refresh this, all right, and see, it's telling me what's my location. It says I'm in Perth, Western Australia, and you guys know I am not in Australia at the moment. I'm in Nigeria. So I have successfully established that tunnel, and whichever website I'm visiting right now will think I am in Australia. So I showed you a little bit about how to use a VPN, but we will need to set it up with Tails. All right, it was on my Windows environment, but we will need to set it up with Tails. So to set up Tails with VPN, now there are 3 options. Okay, we have the Tails to Tor to VPN, Tails to VPN to Tor, and VPN to Tails to Tor. Now hang in there. I know this might seem a bit confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually quite easy. All right, this just shows the progression, how you would connect. All right, so in Tails to Tor to VPN, you first install the VPN, change the network settings, so you reroute the traffic through Tor first before it reaches the VPN. All right, and you know that Tails, any settings in Tails, they are not persistent. They're not persistent. So, and if you reboot the computer, all the settings they will come back to their default state, and you need to do the process again. All right. So it has advantages, but I prefer the Tails to VPN to Tor, and VPN to Tails to Tor. All right, and it's actually quite easy to set up. You first in Tails to VPN to Tor, you install the VPN, and the traffic will go from the VPN first to Tor, and before it reaches to the website you're visiting. And in VPN to Tails to Tor, you create an access point, probably inside another computer, through which you would route the traffic. All right, so I'm going to show you a bit of a demo on how to actually accomplish this. With that out of the way, I'm currently on Tails, and for this demo I loaded Tails in a virtual machine environment. So as you can see here, it's Tails VMware Workstation Player, and I have the Tor browser loaded up. So you see, according to the Tor browser, if we go here, we look here now, it says I'm in the United Kingdom. All right, and you guys know I'm not in the United Kingdom. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to my VPN over here, and as you can see, I'm currently disconnected in my VPN. So let's say I connect to Australia. So that this is my Windows environment. This VPN is actually in my host machine. All right, it's in my host machine, and I'm connecting to the VPN. So now that I've connected, my host machine, now it's and all the traffic that goes from here, that goes out here, will seem like it's originating from Australia. So if I were to minimize this, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to refresh this Google page. So I'm just going to refresh it. It's going to take a little while. Dum 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 dum. So you see, after I have refreshed it, if I were to go down here, it's not showing me any countries. So most likely this is in the United States. Most likely this is in the United States. All right, this is the default, but I want to confirm. I'll say, what is my location? All right, so and it's going. So you can see it's actually telling me I'm in the United States. So the traffic actually, it's actually got from the traffic actually passed from my host machine. Okay, then from my host machine, it now connected to the Tor network. Now what the entry node of Tor, what it's actually seeing as the IP address, as the first IP address, as my IP address, is seeing the IP address of the VPN, which as you can see is this, this 103.107.196.206. That is what Tor is seeing. All right, and in the end, what Tor will now give out, right, it's getting from a location in Australia, then it will now give out a location in the United States. So anybody anywhere I visit would actually think I am coming from I'm visiting from the United States. All right, so we are almost at the end of this lecture. I have talked about getting new computers. I've talked about using the anonymous operating system known as Tails and its default browser, which is Tor. And I also talked about how to set it up with a VPN. Now we are at the final piece of the puzzle, where we would actually connect it to our attacking machine. Our machine will use to actually attack the target. Now, all this using the new computers, anonymous OS, VPN, the aim is to connect it to a system. Now, from this system, this is where we'll be launching our attacks. Okay, so we are going to be launching our attacks. We are going to connect it to a system known as a VPS, or a virtual private server. Now, in layman's terms, think of a VPS as a computer somewhere else in a different location you don't have physical access to. All right, but with the anonymous OS, with the VPN, you are going to be connecting to that VPS, that virtual private server. Now, that virtual private server will be loaded with our hackers operating system. We are going to load something like Kali operating system. There are several flavors we could load, and from this VPS, that's where we're actually going to be launching our attacks. All right, so I'm going to show you a bit about how to connect to VPS. So I want to see the VPS that are available. I just come to Google and I just type VPS, or I could just put VPS Kali. Alright, VPS Kali Linux. Kali Linux, is a flavor of Linux. That's what we are going to be using, for our attacks. And you can see there are several, there are several here. Kali VPN, Kali Linux VPS hosting. I'm not going to click on any particular one, but then again, if you are interested, just do something like this. Google them, whichever one is suits your fancy. You can just pick it, and it's not free, you have to pay for it. I would suggest using Bitcoin. So if I come here and say Kali Linux VPS Kali Linux Bitcoin, so there are several sites that accept payments in Bitcoin, and you can actually host your Kali there. So if a forensics investigator is investigating the hack or the attack, the very first IP address the investigator will see is the IP address of the VPS, or the IP address of the virtual private server. That's what the investigator will see. Now, let's say the investigator happens to trace it back. He gets he first sees the virtual private server exists. The logs will be examined, and then it takes the investigator to the exit node of Tor. Because it's from the exit node of Tor that you are connecting to the virtual private server. All right. And so let's just say Tor is the investigator happens to break Tor. Tor is somehow compromised, right? The investigator would now be faced with another obstacle, which is the VPN security, and he can't actually get to you unless the VPN is taken care of. And the VPN, you've already read the terms and conditions, you've seen it's in a neutral country. They won't just easily hand over their logs. But let's just say by some miracle, all right, he's able to crack that as well. The investigator is able to crack that as well. All right, the investigator will now be faced. It now connects him to the IP address of a public hotspot in a different country. All right, so these are just obstacles, which can just frustrate anyone. But I just need to point out something though. The same way I believe that there is no system that is 100% unhackable. The same way I also believe there is no hack that is 100% untraceable. Okay, everything leaves breadcrumbs. So your job as a hacker is to slow them down as much as possible. But a really motivated forensics investigator who has time and money can discover your identity. All right. So the question will be, how determined is the forensics person? How determined? So I also want to point out that this video, it's not only for hackers, it's also useful in places where government censorship and restrictions are extreme. All right, it's also very, very useful in these places, so it's not just for hackers. Also, like I pointed out earlier, some people might see this as overkill. You don't need to do all that is mentioned here. All right, I mean, you can even use only Opera browser on your main system. It has a VPN inbuilt. You can do that. If you don't want to, you can also use your personal system, install Kali, use a tool like proxy chains to move through several proxies. Though that might cause some problems, especially when doing some scans or working with stuff like reverse shells. I'll talk about that later. So the point what I'm saying that you don't have to follow these steps. So with that, we have come to the end of this tutorial. But there are a few things I would like to talk about, right, on a side note, okay? And the few things are, you should have what they call it. You should have what is known as an anonymous email address. It might come in handy, and there are very good options online. The second would have to be, Bitcoin. Know how to use Bitcoin. When getting a VPN or VPS, you have to pay in Bitcoin and not your credit card. So there are several services that accept Bitcoin, and there are many ways you can get Bitcoin also anonymously, but they are beyond the scope of this video. So and just a little note, there is no such thing. I know this might sound contradictory, but there is no such thing as truly anonymous browsing experience. Like I mentioned, everything leaves breadcrumbs. All right, everything leaves breadcrumbs. So you just have to do your path, make it as hard as possible. All right. So with that, we have come to the end. If you have any questions or you want to contribute, you can leave your comments. If you like the video and you want more, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.